Available on demand every day in iTunes and the Google Play Store. And around the world on MikeO'MaraShow.com. What more can we do for you? It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Welcome to the Mike O'Mara Show. You know, usually at the beginning of this program, we try to do something a little silly. We're going to, we're always silly. We can't help that. But
Look
the
at
fact
you,
is,
Mike. You're silly.
I was thinking about our next guest that we're going to have on today, and something that I participate in every single year. And I was giving it a lot of thought this morning, and it's the Ride of the Patriots that's coming up here at Patriot Harley-Davidson on Sunday, May 26th, which is Memorial Day weekend. I've always said to people, no matter where my travels take me with radio, I'll come back to Washington, D.C., for Memorial Day weekend, and specifically the month of May, because it's
an awesome sight.
It's just amazing between the Law Ride and the Officer Down Memorial that they have downtown, and all of the events that go on in this city. May is my favorite month to be in Washington, D.C. But my favorite weekend in our city is Memorial Day weekend. And a few years ago, when I started riding back in 2005, I had the pleasure of getting involved with the Ride of the Patriots, and I didn't get it. I didn't get Rolling Thunder. I didn't know what it was all about. I would watch it like many of you watch it on the news, and you would see the motorcycles, and you would see them rolling along. And then when I participated, it took one time, and I understood what it was all about. And I understood that it's one of the best things you can participate in if you're a rider, and I'll tell you why. I think there are a lot of people like myself who never had the honor and the privilege of serving in the United States military, and having a father who did.
Yes.
I don't know how men my age feel about it, but there's always that little part of me that feels that you didn't really do it. You didn't cut it. You didn't participate in that.
It's probably for the best.
So it's one of the reasons that I didn't get myself involved in the
myself
military.
as well.
Yeah. I mean, nothing short of the USO, Mike. Maybe you on a stage, but even that's pushing it.
No, but you know, it's why military organizations and benefits that I've done over the years, whether it be Fisher House or the Special Operations Warrior Fund, are near and dear to my heart, because I really feel that's my way of supporting these people that have put their asses on the line for us. And that came out of this Rolling Thunder weekend that we had, Memorial Day weekend, and specifically the Ride of the Patriots, which takes place at Patriot Harley-Davidson, where there are so many bikes that line up to go down to the Vietnam Memorial. And with us now is Don Withrow. Don, who has had his first motorcycle at age 14. He spent 20 years in the United States Army, field artillery, and 2 years in Vietnam. And he has been boss hog for the Ride of the Patriots for 8 years. Wow. And Don's been doing it ever since I've been going to it. And Don is the face of the Ride of the Patriots. I see him up there, and I know it's time once again for one of my favorite things here in Washington, D.C. So, Don, we welcome you to the Mike O'Mara Show. Thanks so much for joining us. And you have been at this for 8 years now. And I didn't know that you served 2 years in Vietnam. So let me first say welcome home to you, sir. It's good to have you on the show.
And thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. This Ride of the Patriots was born out of the original Rolling Thunder weekend, the Rolling Thunder ride down to the Vietnam Memorial, and then it got, I guess, narrowcasted to Patriot Harley-Davidson, where now there are 4 or 5, sometimes 6,000 bikes that line up at Patriot Harley-Davidson. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we started out in just riding down there in 1999. 300 bikes, maybe.
300 bikes, which is a pretty decent ride.
Yeah, it was.
But now they start staging this thing at the crack of dawn at Patriot. And are you? I mean, when did it explode in popularity? When did the thousands of bikes start showing up? Was that a couple of years ago, 3 years ago? I mean, I've been doing it for about 6-7 years.
The explosion started probably about in 2001, maybe 2002.
You see, Mike was looking for credit that the explosion happened when he began on it.
Oh, stop it.
That's what he was hoping what you would say.
Not at all.
Michael O'Mara's here!
Hey, let's all everybody come!
Okay, I'll retract it.
Thank you.
It was when he was there.
That's a good answer. Thank you for coming.
I was not fishing for that.
So really, Don, it was the 9/11, after 9/11 in 2001 that it began to really take off.
Absolutely. Before 9/11, it used to all be about veterans,
Right.
But after 9/11, it became first responders and law enforcement and so forth. Right. And so we don't just honor the veterans, although that is the key point.
That's the number one, and it's specifically the Vietnam Memorial, right? That's where Rolling Thunder was born, right, for the Vietnam veterans?
Yeah, Rolling Thunder actually is still a demonstration. It's a protest. And so we aren't part of the protest. We're just part of a bunch of guys getting together and riding down to the Pentagon
and celebrating. And it's just, Don, I don't know. I mean, can you tell me why it is so? I can't. It's hard for me to articulate as far as why it's so patriotic. But it's the most patriotic demonstration I see every year, and it's a bunch of people. We're on our motorcycles. People line up on the streets out in Fairfax, Virginia. It's this mutual feeling, and it's patriotism. It really is. I feel more patriotic that day than any day of the year. It's the United States. It's God. It's country. It feels phenomenal.
Well, just think about groups of people. Motorcycle riders are the most patriotic bunch of people I have ever run into.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah. And Harley riders especially. I don't know what it is.
It's hard to put a finger on it. It really is. And it starts this coming Sunday, May 26th, Memorial Day weekend. The bikes, is this later than I thought? The bikes are supposed to line up at 6:30. They get there earlier than that, don't they?
Oh, yeah. They get there about 5 o'clock.
5 a.m. the bikes are. Buzz, you've been a spectator for this because you live in Fairfax, and you've gone out and watched the parade, right?
I have, and I've not only seen that, but I've been in D.C. when the tens or hundreds of thousands of bikes descend on the city, on the National Mall, and it is the most breathtaking thing you will ever see involving man and machine. It's awesome.
Let's get the info out there, Don. Not that you need any publicity, you really don't, but it's good to mention this for people that might want to participate. If I'm a new biker out there, I want to do this thing. What's the best way to go about doing it? Just go to the website?
Well, go to the website, which is rideofthepatriots.com. We've got tons of information up there, when to be there, how to get there, and so forth.
And then we go down, we ride down to the Pentagon, which is the staging area.
Right.
You go into the parking lot at the Pentagon, and then it is the main parade, which is the Rolling Thunder Parade that takes place, that goes down through the city and goes right by the Vietnam Memorial. And it is the best damn thing I do. I love it because I'm a rider. This is specifically for riders, let's be honest with you. But if you want to come out, come out in Fairfax and bring the kids down to see the bikes. It's like nothing. It's like you wouldn't believe it. It's
and also,
incredible.
it's not just in Fairfax, that they lined the overpasses over Route 66.
That was the part,
and that's a story that you tell that I love.
There was there is a Marine. I think he's a Marine sergeant that stands at the entry to the city, right down by the Lincoln Memorial, and he doesn't matter what the temperature is. This guy stands there until the parade of bikes has completed. He's assisted by, they bring him water. They will mop his brow occasionally, but he stands at attention and salutes the people that are coming into the city.
Throughout
I don't know, Don, have you heard, is he planning on doing, I don't even know the sergeant's name, but is he planning on doing it again?
Yes, he is. Believe it or not, he lives in California.
And he comes every year.
Comes every year.
Wow. And he'll be there. You see that. When I rode in the first one, I did not ride in the Ride of the Patriots, but my first Rolling Thunder, we came down from Manassas, and there was a guy in his dress blues that was standing in one of the overpasses saluting the bikes, and it was just this moment that that was the moment that I got it. I understood what it was all about.
Caught your breath.
It's just a way to it's a way to celebrate and recognize and acknowledge the people, the way I look at it, the people that have given their lives in the service of this country, whether it be Afghanistan, whether it be Iraq, whether it be Vietnam, Korea, World War II. It's really a celebration of all veterans. That's the way I look at it. Would that be accurate?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
The other thing that's impressed me is how organized, how well organized, and how orderly this entire event is. And I say orderly as a great accomplishment because of the sheer numbers of bikes and bikers who were involved in this. My brother-in-law was one of the many volunteers who helped get everybody in place at the staging area at the Pentagon a year or two ago. And I learned a lot from him about this. But to witness this, it's not only a breathtaking sight, but it's more orderly than you can imagine it possibly being, considering the number of people involved.
Well, it is, and they've been doing it for quite a while too.
Right,
so
26 years.
You get into a rhythm, and there's there's only so many things to be done, and they have people doing it year after year after year.
They do it well.
They could do it in their sleep.
Apparently so.
Sometimes I think they do.
What's the toughest thing about being the boss hog, the main rider, the guy that organized this ride? What's the toughest thing about doing it?
getting up that early.
All right, John.
It's a pain. It is a pain. No,
Doesn't he look like he could kill a grizzly bear with his bare hands?
By looking at it.
I feel less of a man when I'm around you. I'm just going to throw that out there.
John, you've been doing it for 8 years. You going to do it for another 8?
Well, if they'll have me.
That's good
They
stuff.
will.
Yeah. Well, if you want more information on this, it's rideofthepatriots.com or rollingthunder1.com. I think that's right. Is that a
Yes,
one?
that is
Rolling
correct, yeah.
rollingthunder1.com. The bikes line up. Bring your bike down to Patriot Harley Davidson in Fairfax, Virginia. It starts, you can line up at 6:30, but as Don said, bikers get down there as early as 5 o'clock. I'm going to be down there.
You'll be shooting for about 11?
Yes, the cool thing for no, you got to go. I got to get down there early.
He'll be
too.
left behind.
I'm
if he does
teasing, of
that.
course.
The coolest thing about this year, my youngest daughter is going with me.
Is she really?
So Elizabeth's going to be on the back of
That's
my bike.
awesome.
And anything else we can put in there for a Ride of the Patriots? Are we missing anything at all?
No, I think we got it.
I think we
be
got
there.
good stuff. And Don will be the master of ceremonies. We have Don's fun to listen to, and then they bring the political people in. And, no, they're fun too. Yeah, we get out there. Remember our old buddy Chap?
Yes.
Chap Peterson
Oh,
from
yeah.
Fairfax?
Mr. Bowtie.
The long-winded Chap Peterson. Or is it Peterson or Patterson?
Peterson.
Chap Peterson.
I thought it was Cheat Patterson.
He's there. No, they don't allow him to be long-winded, so that's
that's
cool.
good. That's
but
good.
they bring the band down there. Usually Fairfax High School brings
Yes,
the band down
they'll be
there.
there.
They've got all sorts of. They got who's the guest of honor this year? Do we know who the guest of honor is going to
Yes, it's a retired general from the Marine Corps, Dwayne Thiessen.
be? Dwayne Thiessen, very
Yeah,
good.
good
And
guy.
he'll be down there speaking, and they have a little ceremony, and then we wheels up, we roll out of there, and head down to the Pentagon, and it's amazing. So if you've never seen it, come down and see it. Remember, the date is Sunday, May 26th. That is Memorial Day weekend, and ride your bike or stand on the side side of the street in Fairfax and enjoy the ride. Don Withrow, thank you so much for joining us on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll start the real show right after this, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Mike O'Mara
It's
Show.
the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business.
From the entertainment capital of the world.
We're both interested in folk music, and there was a big folk music scene. We formed a group called the Tubadors.
2TWO,
Badors.
because there were two of us.
Yeah.
That was the reasoning behind the name.
Yeah.
I was drawn to the folk music as well, and I wound up down at the folk place and met these two guys, and I could play the guitar a little bit, I could sing kind of right in the middle there.
Not a bad-looking gent to boot.
No, that's true. That didn't hurt.
Didn't hurt. And Mr. Irving Steinblum came down, and he signed us to Folktown, which was the label to be on.
Terrific label.
Later on, we were kind of moved down the food chain a bit to the Folk Tone label, which was a subsidiary.
It was a decent label. They just didn't have the distribution.
Well, they just didn't have. Well, they didn't have any distribution.
No distribution at all.
And the covers were printed in 2 colors instead of 4, which I noticed was a...
Yeah. And they had no hole in the center of the record, so a lot of
you'd have to provide it
the
yourself.
people
It was a drawback.
complained that you'd get this vinyl, of course, in those days, and it's kind of up to you to kind of center it and make the
It
actual
would teeter crazily on the little spindle
the
until
hole, and that was a whole. Well, of course, we had no control
Nightmare.
over that aspect of it, but
But they were still good records. They were
they
good.
were great
It was good product.
And if you punched a hole in them, you'd have a good time.
The Rolling Stones.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Buzz Burbank, Rob Speedway, Oscar Santana. And now, from his settee, here's Mike.
Since we're back on in the radio in Washington, D.C., I think it's okay to mention a competing radio station that that just makes me laugh.
What's
Are you
that?
WTOP, the news station, is calling themselves your Rolling Stone station now.
Yes, they are.
I heard that the other day when I was driving up to 98 Rock.
I
to do
know
the morning show.
that. I know that the Stones are closing their 50-year anniversary tour in D.C.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
so
but it's-
WTOP has attached themselves to that.
Yeah, they fused themselves. to
There's
that.
a certain
because they want all the money.
Well, there's a certain WTOP-ness to them, isn't there?
There sure is.
The target audience is the same now.
Yeah, but it pisses me off. Live from Studio 1K in the Fiberplex Broadcast Center, this is the Mike O'Mara Show. We're downloaded worldwide 18 million times, powered by Encore Insurance. We're at MikeO'MaraShow.com, 102.9 FM WTNT in Washington, D.C., and the mighty 1630 KCJJ in Iowa.
And Mike, don't forget, we are your Rolling Stones podcast.
How are Steve and everybody? I don't hear from them anymore.
You don't?
I literally don't hear from them.
You should call in.
Well, maybe
they would
should.
love to call
He
you.
usually drops a line to me once in a while, and I think they you're still.
Is the shine
you're
off the
still-
apple?
Well, not for you.
I don't know.
You really?
Yeah.
Are they still nice to you?
They're They're cordial.
Our show today is brought to you by Vistaprint.com. Marketing your business doesn't have to be expensive. We've had a wonderful relationship with Vistaprint.com because they've got everything you need and this great deal that we've been talking about for a long time because it's worth it. 250 primo quality business cards for just $10, and that includes shipping. That's a great price, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. Heavy paper stock, half the regular price. To get this offer, go to Vistaprint.com and enter the code TMOS in the search bar. Remember, that's 250 top-quality cards. Send along a copy of your card. There's Rob's latest.
Rob's holding his up right now.
Rob, who updates his picture on Facebook every 15 minutes.
That's right.
Updates his business card every half an hour.
Yes, and then I do traffic on the 8s.
250 top-quality cards. Free shipping for just $10. Go to Vistaprint.com and enter the code TMOS in the search bar, and we thank you in advance for that. I got to start something on the show today because Buzz and Rob will know this, Oscar, because they worked with me for a long time.
What's that?
But I've talked about this. I know that we have had this subject on the show time and again.
That you're done rooting for the Caps?
No, that's over. They're dead to me for this month.
Dead to you?
For this month.
Who knew?
Anyway, hockey's over.
Right.
Forgive
and forget.
On to the Red Sox sucking. So, yeah, that team sucks too. You know, two wins in 11 games. Yeah, sports games.
You had a good
nothing
April.
But sports game. I had a great April.
Do yourself a favor. Don't bet on horses.
Right. Exactly. Maybe the Preakness orb. This article jumps out at me today.
Okay.
Disney World scheme.
Oh, yeah.
Entitled families hire disabled guide to bypass lines.
I've heard about that.
Now, how many times have we had the discussion about you go down to the theme park and you see the people in the wheelchairs and you say, they're not really disabled. This is not exactly that.
It's not as much wheelchairs as it is Amigo brand scooters.
The scooters.
Rascals.
Yes, the Rascals,
brand
which
scooter.
allow you in and out to get out of them quickly and stuff. But this is worse. Because this is not fake disabled people.
No, these are perfectly able-bodied people who have money.
This is the that's right. The money people, right?
Yeah, they're using disabled people.
Now this is rich, and we emphasize rich. A handful of upper crust. This is horrible. Really bad. A handful of upper crust Manhattan moms have a pricey, secret way to get their kids to the front of the lines at Disney World. This. Really, when you talk about the large scheme of horrible crimes in the world, this doesn't really add up to much. But when you just talk about being scummy,
it's a ride at Disney.
This is the top of the hit parade.
Absolutely.
Right here. According to a story in Tuesday's New York Post, it's not by bribing Mickey Mouse they do this. No. Instead, the moms pay $130 an hour to hire a disabled black market guide.
Wow. That is so dark and evil.
Isn't it evil?
It is.
Isn't it scummy? We're not going to wait. We're going to wait.
Now,
the New Yorkers, we're going to hire the disabled guide.
I'm really shocked that Disney has not thought of this first, though.
Hold on. This $130 an hour guide, disabled black market guide, uses her position, sitting in a motorized scooter,
of course,
to help entitled families gain special access to rides. It's such a perfect time of year for this.
It is.
Because everybody's going ready to go on their summer vacations. On one hand, you can say she's a great entrepreneur. Disability activist Cleo King of the National Spinal Cord Injury Association told Yahoo. On the other hand, she's kind of pimping herself out, and it's outrageous she would help people commit fraud. The scheme of hiring out the disabled guide was uncovered by social anthropologist Wednesday.
Wow.
Wednesday Martin. I'm sorry. God, nice name. That's an ass name.
Well,
biblical proportion.
Pugsley wasn't available for comment.
Yeah. Anthropologist Wednesday Martin, a former New York Post contributor. There you go. It's insider knowledge that very few have and share carefully, Martin told the Post. So when you're doing it, you're affirming that you are one of the privileged insiders who has and shares information.
Yes.
You're also getting a good deal as VIP tours offered by Disney, which includes speed passes, start at $315 an hour.
So it's cheaper to hire the handicap.
Yeah, it is cheaper to hire
half price.
A black market guide to pretend that this person is a member of your family and cannot walk so that your little brat Well, I don't want to use bad
Easy.
language.
I was trying to figure out how we could blame Disney for this, and we found the answer. They charge such a ridiculous
They've
price.
charged us out of it, yes.
that the people have to do that.
Yes, Oscar.
Well, this is evil in many ways.
Yes.
I would say that one, the black market guide is working on his or her strengths.
So this is their hustle?
I would not
so
say
they're,
strength.
They're taking advantage of what God's given them, and they're making lemonade.
What God's taken away from them.
You know,
avoid the phrase using a little backbone.
If you're going...
Oh, God.
I'm just trying to protect you, buddy.
If you are going to find the person with less blame in this, it may be the guy themselves. I definitely want to focus on the evil families that do this.
Now, I have seen...
They're the real scum. But then again, the guy's complicit.
I can comment to this a little bit, because when Robert finished his cancer treatment, our Make-A-Wish trip was to the Disney parks.
Right.
Now, when you get the Make-A-Wish trip, you get the magic lanyard where you get to skip all lines. That's part of it.
Excuse me. Having pediatric leukemia gives your child a free pass.
I understand,
Thank
but
you
what
very
I
much.
get to do is I got to see some of this behind-the-scenes action.
Oh, good. Okay, so enlighten us a little bit.
For example, when you go to Pirates of the Caribbean,
one of my faves,
which is great, there's that long serpentine line you have to go through.
Well, didn't Disney kind of invent that? Didn't they refine it? Didn't they?
They were the ones
they refined the back and forth.
What they refined is two things: not only the back and forth, but also the sections of lines. When you first defeat the first serpentine area, you go into another area with another back and forth, and a lot of times there's like video monitors showing video presentations on a loop to distract you.
So evil.
But
such an evil empire, Disney.
The first ride we did when we got there was the Pirates of the Caribbean, and I showed up, and Robert with the family, and Robert had his big, Make-A-Wish. It's like it's a lanyard, like you would have a backstage pass at a concert.
Yes.
And a guy spots us and says, "How many?" And I said, "We're 4." He said, "Come here."
Which, incidentally, kind of is the norm, right?
Oh, yeah.
3 or 4. The family of 3 or 4.
Right.
Mom, dad, sister of a person with malady,
and kid.
And kid.
4 would be the standard.
And so for Pirates of the Caribbean, they took us to a do not enter door.
Right.
It swung open.
Right.
And they took us directly and sat us in a Pirates of the Caribbean boat, and we were off.
And every ride was like that, correct?
But I also saw them taking handicapped people out of line and taking them through this same exit, because the wheelchair or scooter can't manipulate the serpentine line.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they saw them, they just bring them in and they do it.
Clogged up the system.
And they didn't even have any sort of, I didn't see any sort of a lanyard or thing that that's designated
obviously,
them special.
but
So I'm thinking that Disney does this almost to get the differently abled people through the line and out of the way.
The differently abled? What do you mean?
Keep it moving.
I don't know. Are we allowed to say handicapped anymore?
Just call them corkies. You know you want
Disabled?
to.
Yeah. So if you're disabled,
Disabled.
I got the impression, and this is just me watching the system.
Totally confused
In the
by what you're
happiest place-
talking about right now. I don't know where you are.
Really?
A lot of people use differently abled now instead of disabled. It's considered more politically correct.
I think Disney sees the handicapped and wants to process them quickly.
I
think that's what they're
I know you
capitalizing
can't
on.
say retarded, and corkies is out of the picture. That's not
Right,
cool
right,
either.
right.
Yeah.
Now-
Especially if the problem's your legs.
But wait a minute. But the fact is
What do you
that
call
if you're disabled, you can go to the park and you can be processed in such a way where you get the speed pass to go through.
I
Do you
saw-
have to
but
just
I
get? Do you
saw-
have to just get in? Did you see people in wheelchairs in regular line?
Yes, I saw nobody with any sort of special notification on them just being waved in.
Even without a pass.
Well, the
Because, for
fact is,
example,
though-
I don't think a wheelchair, all the rides are handicap friendly, but I don't think the wheelchair can access the Haunted Mansion the same way someone that's
it doesn't
walking can.
negotiate the velvet
But my
rope
point
line.
is, if you are disabled, there is a special entrance.
There is.
Right. They
That's
treat you
what
better,
they do.
yeah, and
If
they are
you saw
capitalizing on it.
If you saw somebody in a rascal scooter that was in the regular line, they are either using it just because they're lazy and they're not legitimately disabled, or B,
Diabetes.
They didn't pay attention. They didn't pay attention to the the fact that they can go in a special entrance.
Well, I saw people
like this
being waved-
$130 an hour guide. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I saw people in rascal scooters in the line being waved out of the line.
You have to
saying,
be
"Come with
taken
me."
to the special entrance by a Disney employee,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Rob?
exactly.
Yeah.
You're escorted. So I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm still confused.
I'll explain to you. They basically help anybody that looks like they're not 100% get to the front of the line.
So the Richie Rich families that hire the guide,
yeah.
they do that. They don't do that just to be standing in the regular line, hoping that a Disney aide will pull them out of line. Rob, here's the problem. you focused on your family. The fact is,
I focused on what I saw.
Yeah, but
and
when
I
you
saw
go,
people,
wait a minute. But when you go, first of all, I've been to Disney more times than you have.
Oh, I agree.
And the fact is, when you go there, they have. If you go to the handicapped will call, whatever it's called,
right,
they will then give you a speed pass to take you through the park on a ride.
Okay.
If you saw people they were picking out of line, that was an aberration from what is the norm, where the people who are legitimately disabled get to go to the head of the line.
Okay, then let me add to that. That I'm sure that if you've hired someone for $130 an hour,
that's why they do it.
You know how to work the system.
Right. That's
I
right.
saw instances of people that perhaps did not know how to work the system,
right,
but still benefited.
Because I wouldn't doubt that there are people that come there and don't know that they can get this access.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If I could afford it and my kids were hell on wheels,
I'm trying to figure this whole thing out.
I'd pay the money.
Yes. What's that?
You would hire a handicapped person to get you through the
lines. Not on my best day. Not on my most. I would cut in line. I would sneak in line. I would try something on my own to get through there. Hiring somebody to be in a wheelchair.
Would you in a wheelchair?
I would.
Maybe they love Disney. Maybe they need the money.
But how does
Maybe
that
need the work?
Let me read this.
Okay.
Let me share this with you. It's outrageous. This practice is hurting people with disabilities who legitimately can't stand in line. As the more people who do it, the more resentful people get, King explained. Disney World and other places can't really ask people about their disabilities in order to curtail fraud. That's another thing I wasn't sure about.
Would you fake a limp, Mike?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to.
If it's me doing something, if I'm putting on a disguise, but using a disabled person, would you really? You've got, say you and Shannon, and you have a couple of pups with you, a couple of 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds,
take
whatever.
Luca with you,
and you really take Luca. You really would do that. You're the last person that would do that.
Oh, I would.
You are the last person that would do that.
I would do it. I simply would do it for convenience sake. Let you get to the park in half the time.
But you can afford the VIP pass. Why would you misuse a disabled person for this purpose?
Why would I pay big business?
Because it makes for more interesting radio buzz.
Why would I pay big business Disney $300?
Something I ought to send you the playbook on occasionally.
$300 if I could pay this young entrepreneur some like $150, $200, whatever they want now, which is $100 less.
$130 an hour.
Oh my God, a steal!
Even if it's the same money as Disney, even if they charge the same, wouldn't you rather be giving that extra money to someone who could use it other than the corporation?
All right, let me give you this is Universal. This is the competition.
Okay.
I have stayed at Universal, and let me explain the way they do it.
Yeah.
If you happen to have now this is not the 1%, but this is inexpensive. The hotels, arguably, when you stay at Disney and you stay at Universal, the hotels on property are more expensive than if you stay at the hotels outside the property.
Sure.
So you're going to pay a little more, not ridiculous, but you're going to pay a significant amount. What they do at Universal, you stay at one of their hotels, then you get the speed pass. You get the little privilege to go into the park.
Wow.
So because
you get to go in early and sometimes
get
even
to go
stay
in
later.
early.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yeah. I didn't think I was gaming the system. I thought that I was doing it legitimately to go in there. This is I'm going to walk you to the front of the park at 8:00 in the morning. Hello, this is Pete. Pete is not able to walk, and Pete will be your guide today.
I'm going to mention something, and I've never told anybody this.
Oh boy!
Oh dear!
This is a good setup.
This is going to justify what I just said, and then you'll believe me that I'd pay somebody if I had the money to do this. Remember when Shannon hurt her foot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shannon hurt her foot, but she could walk for most of the time. She had a cast, and I said, Shannon, do you have that cast with you? Because we were in the Dominican Republic trying to get through security in the airport. We were early. We weren't running late like I usually am. I said, throw that cast on. Let's get a wheelchair. Let's buzz through security and get to the front of the line. And she looked at me like I was an animal, and I said, I'm not kidding. And she threw it on, and we got there in 15 minutes.
Now, airport lines are a little different. You got a lady that's got a cast.
Yeah, you know what? I think
you got a lady that's got a cast.
Walk.
No, but I tell you what, I think what you did was fine, RJ.
Oh, RJ. RJ. Yeah. And I thought I'd mention it today. He was at the game 7.
Oh, how
where
nice.
the Caps lost 5-0.
Good luck,
I
Charm.
think he was at 6 also.
Oh, was he? Oh, good for him. Good. Okay. How's that employment search going? We'll take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about Game of Thrones and My Mom at the Movies on the Mike O'Mara Show. We'll take a break. Be right back. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Weight Not.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. Weight Not gives you strategies that you can use throughout the rest of your life. The bottom line for people that have a problem with this is that in many cases they don't have any strategies. They don't have any systems. The one thing that's nice about Weight Not is they give you information. Tons of information.
Oh, you learn.
Information you can understand, information you can process. And the more information you have, the more you can attack this problem. And also, now, there is a range of Weight Not programs to fit any budget. Weight Not plans now start as low as $5 a day, and you can accelerate your weight loss based on the pace you like and your budget. With Weight Not, you'll get the real natural foods you can find in any grocery store. No packaged meals, no meal replacements, no prescriptions, no stimulants, nothing artificial. The safe way to lose weight and keep it off. Weight Not has helped thousands. Read the success stories on the Weight Not Facebook page. To find out more, visit weightnot.com. Weight Not, show us what you are made of. Okay, so we've covered the Disney thing.
Yes.
It's going on. I don't know how they can crack down on it outside of saying, stand up and walk for me.
Walk, my son. I know that if you do hire a handicapped person, not only do you get to the rides faster, your parking situation is fantastic.
I still don't think you'd do it.
I would do it.
I know he would.
You'd hire a person.
Look, if it was,
I couldn't do that.
If it was legal, isn't it legal?
I'll cheat a little bit. You'll cheat a little bit, right?
I'm cheating right now.
Do you ever cheat a little bit, like take a little liberty
He's
here and
cheating
there?
death.
Not that I can think of. Other than,
Cheating death.
Yeah, cheating death.
You
That's
would.
it.
I've seen you. I won't rat you
but
out,
you know
but I
what,
know
like-
how you've done it.
What if?
I won't rat you out.
Okay.
I know one, but it would embarrass you.
Okay.
So I won't share.
Can I clarify?
That's a lie. I'm just lying right now.
When you talk about
I'm lying
cheating,
right now. I don't have one. I know I could pull one if I really looked at it.
when you talk about cheating, if this handicapped person that is with the rich family from
Yes.
Long Island or
That's
wherever,
the part that I couldn't
but what
do.
if the handicapped person has their ticket paid for and gets to ride all the rides? You're just really taking this person to an amusement
It's
park.
still-
The person is not unbenefiting
It
from
would
it.
be the creep factor. You're committing fraud, and it's fraud. It's complete fraud.
No.
It's not. If it's a group of people going to an amusement park.
No, you are indicating that this is your family member.
You have never been asked it's your
I'd love
family
to-
member.
You know what? Let me see. There's no more information. I'd love to get into the details of this because I bet they say it's a family member.
I would say
I
it's
bet
a
they
family
say
member.
it's a
But
family
you know
because
what?
there are rules.
Disney can't ask.
Somebody
though.
look up rules Disney World.
It would
what
probably,
their rules are.
Mark's on it. We would probably be harder for me to find somebody because I'm Latin.
This is my adopted handicapped boy.
So if I got a white guy or a black guy, it's gonna be a tough sell.
This is my adopted child from Finland.
Go ahead. If I had a handicapped friend and they had not been to Disney or they liked Disney and they wanted to go back, I would have no problem with associating myself with them and
Totally
enjoying
different.
the benefits thereof.
I do that too.
But if this handicapped person that it's being employed has been a dozen times and could care freaking less if they ever go again, I don't see
As
it.
long as there's not a rainy cloud on my sunny day, then why not?
Maybe they love theme parks.
The part that would be creepiest for me would be the morning where it's like, "Hi, Phil. Hi, how are you? Thanks for doing this.
Hey, it's really no problem.
You're paying.
How are you feeling?
I'll meet you and eventually end.
Hey, just
be
because you're
terrible.
handicapped, that doesn't mean it could be physical.
It could be anything.
mental. It could be anything.
But it's still not. You're not.
Could be
as
homicidal.
Buzz said, if it's a friend and you got a friend who's in a wheelchair and you want to go to Disney World, of course, then there's that part that is just like, hey,
I'll pay their way.
It's great
you know?
it's great to be in Orlando, Roger. I'm so happy. What do you want to do today?
My
Theme park.
I'd like to think even if it's not a friend at the beginning of the day,
Right.
at the end of the day, you'll be great friends.
I would say it's like when people call you on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
They want you to hang out.
You're right. There's a little bit of that too.
Or a leprechaun.
But if I know them, I talked about that too.
I remember
this is
that.
the first. This past St. Patrick's Day was the one. Wasn't it like an odd day,
Yeah.
or I'd had like a Thursday night out or something like that?
I think it was a
I didn't go out on
Wednesday.
St. Patrick's Day, and I was just like, hey, the one call I got from my buddy Chandler was the worst. Where the phone rang and it was an answering machine because I wasn't answering my phone. It was like, hey, Irish.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't even clever about it.
Hey, Irish.
Imagine
yeah.
the calls that the handicapped people get.
Hey, Irish. St. Patrick's Day. Drink. You, me. That.
Come out and talk in that funny accent and charge your pot of gold.
Did you find the law?
I found stuff, but what's interesting is it sounds like the laws themselves are in another handbook that they'll hand you when you get there. They give you some of the details, what they'll do for you as a disabled person.
What do they say they'll do?
They have special parking. They have valet. They sell wheelchairs or rent them for $10 per day.
Donald dollars.
Yeah. They do have guidebooks at the wheelchair rental location.
So technically, anyone can go to Disney World, rent a wheelchair, and maybe get this special treatment.
It says nothing about having to prove your disability.
Is that illegal?
I think that's illegal.
They can't do that.
They can't make you prove it.
Yeah, but if you hire someone that is.
They also have a tape recorder with a cassette that describes each park for the disabled people that you can rent for $25.
It's free though. It's free for the deaf people.
They have stuff for them too.
Now you know what? But if you're in there and you're doing the wheelchair thing, I just don't know. I think the advantage to hiring the person for $130 an hour is this is a person who knows the game. This is a person who's going to operate for you. Because this is a pro.
Well,
it also could go wrong.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been on an island or a vacation and you see the guy like come out of the bushes and say, "Hey man, do you want a dune buggy?" And you're like, "Oh, the hotel's charging me $300. This guy says I can do it for $120. You almost die."
You know what I like? I like the person that's collecting the money and then halfway through the park they look at the people and go, "I want $200 more," or I'm telling Disney what we're doing right now.
See, that's not nice.
Wow, they could tell them.
You get even.
If they do that, I'm taking the wheelchair.
You get even. You take them on Space Mountain. That's
So we'll keep our eyes on this. This is a great story.
I'm sure a lot of families do it.
Speaking of wheelchairs,
and maybe we'll do it this summer at King's Dominion.
That's the coolest segue I've ever done in my life. Speaking of wheelchairs, ladies and gentlemen, had a conversation with my mamo on Saturday.
Yeah.
She goes to my sister's house on Mother's Day Sunday, so I sent my flowers, my Pro Flowers flowers up to her on Saturday, and got a great reaction, got a great response because they doppeled the flowers.
Oh, they got the doppel flowers,
and Mom was just the talk of the home, and so I'm having a conversation with her, and she's so happy in this place. She is enjoying the. I call her and I say, "I'm doing as well as I can." You know, she's 93. The legs don't work like they used to work, but the fact is, she's happy in this apartment.
You should take her to Disney.
Bingo.
Right.
Win a win.
Only in the summer. But anyway, so
I left Mom in the haunted mansion.
You laugh.
So
little Mikey's on the way,
and she's still got all her buttons, and she's fun. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, see.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But
that's one aspect of this I don't want to think
by
about.
that time, you'll be handicapped.
This is true. I'll be able to help the whole family.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Brad?
So I call Mom out. She calls me, and she goes, "Oh my God!" I said, "Mom, it's a pleasure. You know, I'm glad you loved them, and you know, she loves the flowers that I sent. We saw her just a month ago, so she's still happy. She's doing well.
Good.
We're asking about it, and then I always ask her what she's doing because it's fun now. Because now that she's there are activities all the time. She goes to the opera. She goes to lectures. She goes to, instructional things about computers. They're constantly doing stuff. And then she's got her rat pack up there, her little vodka rat pack that gets together. She even went on a date. Oh! Wow. Yeah. But the guy apparently didn't talk a lot. Yeah. And so...
Did they hold a mirror under his nose?
He's not a big talker. No, but anyway, she said she had to carry the conversation. So it's nice to know that even like when you're over the age of 85, you can still blow it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Literally. Yeah.
So this
not
is
literally, but
this is the one where when she answered this question, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop laughing at her. Right. And she didn't know why I was laughing because she said, well, we're having another movie tonight. And they see things like The Sound of Music, Bridge Over the River Kwai. They see these classic movies.
Rob watches.
And then they'll see the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Yes.
And I said, what are you doing? What are you doing tonight, Mom? She says, I'm going to the movies.
And what was the film?
I said, what are you going to go see? We're going to see this movie called The Dark Knight.
No,
yes.
really? My mom's 93. She's going to go see Batman.
That is
oh, my
awesome.
God, Batman.
That rules.
Mom, that's Batman. Oh, really, dear? I said, yeah, it's Batman. You're going to see. Is it Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah.
Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight
and
Rises.
She officially becomes hipper than you.
When I got done, and I couldn't stop. I'm just going, I just picture these 90-year-old people sitting there watching Batman.
Make sure they all get their heart medication.
See, you like Batman, so it's not as fun.
I'm a fan
It's
of your
not
mom now and her home.
She didn't go after I talked to her.
No!
You talked her out of it?
She wouldn't have liked it.
You don't know that.
She would have hated it.
Yeah, you say that.
She would have.
I do. Just because you hate things like that.
I do know that.
No, you
You know that movie's not for 93-year-old.
My dad watches all those movies.
How old is 93?
He's 74.
I just, they talked about, there was an opera on the weekend where it was a 3-hour opera, and, we have to take a break.
We do.
But you think she'd really enjoy the
I
Dark Knight
think that
Returns?
she would at least like the experience.
I'll send her a Blu-ray.
It's mine.
How's that?
You
But anyway.
still have?
Not the player, just the disc.
I love my mamo. I sent her the player.
No
too.
hole in it.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm a good son. We'll take a break. Come back with more on the Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. This segment is brought to you by CB Lucas AC and Heating. It's May. We're kind of waiting for summer to arrive.
Right.
You know what's going to happen now. Buzz, this is probably going to be the worst year ever where we've had the wall of cool air and suddenly we wake up one day and it's going to be 90 for the rest of the year.
They were talking about 90 today, and I put on shorts and a T-shirt, stepped outside and said, no, this will never do because it's still in the 50s.
You can rest assured, though,
no matter what temperature.
at some point, it's going to be 98 degrees.
Oh, yeah, maybe today. We don't know.
And then it's going to be the rest of the summer. That's the way it's going
And
to
the
work.
rest of your life.
And you don't want it to sneak up on you if you've got a problem with your heat or your air conditioning. Then you want CB. Sorry, you want CB Lucas to come in there.
Thank you, Mark.
Sorry about that.
It's
Never too late for a checkup, even for the way you talk.
Yes.
CB Lucas AC and Heating. Summer is almost here. That's the point we are trying to make.
Yeah.
Whether your system just needs a tune-up or replacement,
Yeah.
CB Lucas is your best choice to keep your home cool all summer long. They're the best.
Can I throw a little love to your system?
Absolutely.
Yesterday when I went
outside, in this barn we live in.
Yesterday when I went outside, I could literally see allergens floating in the air.
Yes,
I mean, there was haze in the air, and my eyes hurt, and I couldn't breathe. I come into this.
How about my CB Lucas air in this house?
I come in here, and I can breathe without coughing. I love this house.
Give them a call, 855-CB Lucas. Click their ad on our website for all your AC, heating, and plumbing needs. We thank CB Lucas in advance for that. Moving right along. Man, this morning I will tell you that I had me a moment. I'm all for the criminal justice system. I really am. I think if somebody doesn't show me some better system, then we got to accept what we have. And I think it, by and large,
flawed as it is,
it's the best one in the world. However, this business of lawyering sometimes really
Not a fan, huh?
pisses me off. I'm watching a press conference held by the lawyers from this monster, Ariel Castro, the guy that kidnapped and held the 3 girls for 10 years in his basement, raped them, forced them to miscarry their babies. The lawyers for Ariel Castro, this is the quote when they asked him about what the plea would be. And the one lawyer said, definitely going to be 2 words, not guilty. And then he went on to say regarding the daughter that was sired when he raped. Is her name Amber? I forgot what her I'm not sure what her name is. But one of the girls has a 6-year-old daughter that was fathered by Ariel Castro.
That's right.
And this is what the lawyer says. I'm all for also innocent until proven guilty. This guy's already confessed. They found the girls in the house. This is a guilty party.
Right.
I don't care. I'm not going to mince words about that. The fact is that the lawyer said, Mr. Castro is extremely committed to the well-being and positive future of his daughter, who he loves dearly.
I see.
I mean, really, when does it go when you're a lawyer? Don't you think you have to have a little sensitivity as to how you portray yourself in the public, regardless of the fact that your primary job is to defend your douche?
The sincere love and hope for the best for the daughter, did that begin before or after that it was forced to give birth in a plastic pool?
It was stunning.
Yeah.
It was stunning. You've seen the guys that come out and do this. They're normally much more understated. And I don't know whether these guys are. Why? First of all, it's either a public defender in many of these cases,
It's
or
Cleveland.
or
it's not
You're blaming
geographic.
the city.
It's not geographic.
You're blaming the city.
I blame that town.
Why?
You're an ass.
When you look,
I love Cleveland. You remember karaoke night, pal?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that night we had?
Was it
that
the Fox?
was that a great night in a great city?
Do you remember the Red Stag we drank?
Yeah.
If we didn't have that,
but it
would have been a horrible place to be.
Greatest karaoke bar ever in the
Yes.
history of mankind.
Look,
Only karaoke bar that ever let me behind the bar.
There are some SE places in this country, right?
Yes.
Now, it's not necessarily their fault. A lot of industry has crumbled, and a lot of industry has left the country.
Right.
Now, Cleveland,
Yes,
I think,
sir.
is a victim of that.
Yes,
I don't
probably.
blame them.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can be a lawyer that come out with a big swinging member and act like a jock in high school.
it's just ridiculous that he came out and said he's. I quote it. I wrote it down. Committed to the well-being and positive future of his daughter, who he loves dearly. What? What are you doing? What are you doing? You think this guy allegedly has confessed, and I'm all for. I know they have to defend the guy, but you defend the guy in a different way. You don't come out and say you're completely peeing on all the families that have suffered because of this situation.
And if you think
it's just weird,
if you think
I'm
you're
not used to it.
If you think you're strengthening your case by coming out with this bravado, what you're doing is you're weakening it because you're showing no sympathy at all towards the victims.
I think what it is also, it's the part of our criminal justice system that that tuckers me out a little bit. I mean, I realize that I wish that more of our criminal justice system took place behind closed doors. I wish that we didn't have to have this PR crap where they come out.
The OJ trial
absolutely not. Yeah, the OJ trial changed that. Where now there is this. Who's that? Is it Gloria Allred? Is she?
Yes. Yes.
She's one that's and Nancy
And she
Grace.
is all red.
I feel the same way. We were going to talk about Dr. Oz last week.
Oh, Mehmet Oz, yes.
The magic box, the little magic television, to me, I think it really messes things up. I think it messes things up. You don't, when you have that element that's introduced, where you've got to entertain the public, where you've got to PR the public, it seems to me that things get a little cloudy, you know? And I realize, I know it's innocent until proven guilty. That's the way it works in this country, but it still pissed me off to see this today.
So, I don't know. You know more lawyers in your personal life than I think anyone in this room does.
I'm not happy about it.
But you do. And when I think a lawyer always geared up for court, you would think of just going to court, getting your case together, and defending or prosecuting.
Right.
Depending on where you were in the law. And now I think when these guys go to court, they have to think about that, and then they have to think about what they're going to tell the press.
Right, of course they do.
Where the public profile is going to be, how they're going to advance their careers, if it's even possible with the cases they're talking.
And don't they take cases like this, really?
A lot of people
Especially
do.
if the guy's destitute, if it's a high-profile guy,
And
these defense lawyers will take it without...
Sure, it's his ticket out of Cleveland.
They could well be Bush League lawyers, and without defending what the lawyer said, I think I do understand what the lawyer was trying to achieve by saying...
Pissing people off?
By talking about Ariel...
Trying to humanize him.
Exactly. Trying to humanize his client, hoping that it will get him some sympathy.
Compassion.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's say you're right about that.
All right.
At the same time, how do you think that's a legitimate thing to do based on...
That will be up to the jury.
I'm talking about judgment. I'm talking about the judgment of making it, because I think when you have a monster, when you have the Aurora, I'm talking about. I know that might have been their goal, to do it, but at the same time, I think it's a tremendous. Let's speak technically about the defending the case. I think it's a tremendous miscalculation.
And when
it's not going to work, exactly, you're right about that.
Have you seen the video this week that came out of him playing bass in his kitchen? And I think that
Ariel Castro.
And this was probably another leak by the law firm
An attempt to
make him humanized. But you know what it does? It makes him look crazy, especially because he's playing bass in the kitchen where he always had music blaring and the curtains up, so his family would not know about the women that he had in the
If these are Bush League lawyers, they're likely to do dumb stuff like that.
And they just came out and kind of really matter of fact, and it just sucked.
Well, they felt like they were spitting in everyone's face.
That's the way, and I think they got to handle that.
Yeah.
I think they got to be mindful of that. Any lawyer, whether it's Cleveland or anywhere else. Wanted to talk about that. Another magic box moment that I had was, did you guys see the Kitchen Nightmares episode last night?
I've been reading about
Mark,
it.
did you see it?
I haven't seen that one yet.
I didn't, but I've been reading about this. I think
just wanted to glance at a clip. Had to go see the whole thing.
Had
to watch the whole thing.
Now,
Watch it online.
Are you still on the Gordon Ramsay bandwagon?
No.
Because you are the person that actually brought me to Gordon Ramsay.
But I can watch him. I'm not religious about it, where I won't watch all the episodes. So I'll peek in occasionally. But I saw this
because the Nightmare Show I don't like as good as the Chef Elimination Show.
I wish you guys
Hell's Kitchen.
I wish you had seen it, simply because, like anything reality TV, I always put the question mark on these people.
Sure.
They're a Scottsdale restaurant.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
And they have a bread. It's called
bakery.
Like the bakery and bread company.
I did read about this.
It's the first. Look, maybe I hope they're real. Because if they're real, this is the very first time that Gordon Ramsay ever said, I'm walking out. I'm not going to help you. To the point where on the TV show, they even had a segment where they were dismantling the cameras. And
they show them breaking down.
They show on the show that they're tearing the show down. Because these people were, I've never seen this. Having been a restaurant owner, I've never seen this in my life. They're screaming at the customers.
Yes.
Like this one lady says, if you the guy is foreign, the lady is not. She approaches like Piota, a piece of Astum, but she's not.
Was she ever?
But she's trading up for him. He's got a very thick accent, and apparently.
Do you think she was maybe a POA some time ago?
No.
No, she never quite got there.
She's well made up.
Okay.
She's not heinous.
A cougar.
But she's, he's older.
Yeah.
So the husband has put the money into it, and you see the husband saying thing, okay, leave. You don't know anything about good food. Goodbye. Right in the middle of the customers, and you're sitting there going, it's so over the top. It is so over the top that I said, I put a question. Is it real? Is it real? And you never know with stuff like that. I think you'd have to see
the whole thing.
I watched the whole segment. Impossible to really tell because some of these reality shows
great TV though.
It's such great TV.
And
it really
Mark,
is.
you might look into this, but I understand that after Gordon Ramsay quit the show and the owners had yelled at the customers, they went nuts on social media. The owners of the restaurant got on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and
they went out of their mind.
A lot of swearing, a lot of crazy statements.
Let me see if I can.
You don't know good television.
So just to recap,
that also tells me maybe that this is
calculated.
They're just big villains. Yeah,
this
how
helps
would it
them.
benefit?
This helps
well,
them.
This is buzz for the program. Maybe they're selling the real estate. Maybe they're getting out of the business. Who knows? So, just to recap for those who haven't seen the show, Gordon Ramsay goes into these restaurants and redoes their whole menu, right? And actually redesigns.
There are a few shows like this on. His is one where it's Kitchen Nightmares.
Robert Irvine has Restaurant Impossible.
Where they go in there, and because I was a restaurant owner, I actually went in and I watched this just to see.
Actually,
compare notes.
Mike used to call his life Restaurant Impossible.
Buzz, they actually published this. Amy's Baking Company. That's the place.
That's it.
Amy's Baking Company.
Clever name.
It's really
who owns it?
It's worth a twirl if you want to take a look at something online. It really is. Let me see. Amy's Baking Company. She tweets, "I am not stupid. All of you are. You just do not know good food. It is not uncommon to resell things. Walmart does not make their electronics or toys, so laid off." I guess they're talking about the ravioli that was frozen product.
Oh, okay.
Then Amy's Baking Company, it's not her, it's probably her. "We do not need this, you stupid people. America is about reselling. It is not a big deal. The cakes we offer are expensive because we have to repackage and ship. Do not blame us because you cannot afford quality. The Yelpers and now the Reddits need to back off. You're not right just because of some TV show."
Wow.
The Yelpers and the Reddits, Mike.
Buzz, as Buzz said, they're out of their minds about this. Amy's Baking Company writes, "We are not freaking out."
Sort of a pastry insanity fusion restaurant.
we do not care about a witch hunt. I am not a witch. I am God's child. Oh, don't bring God in.
Here we go.
Well, a lot of times that's a good strategy.
Here in the same sentence. I am not God's child. I am God's child. Piss off, all of you. F.
Well, that's what God wants you to say.
F Reddits, F Yelp, and F all of you. Bring it. We'll fight back.
That's just ignorant.
Amy's Baking Company. To all of the Yelpers and Reddits, bring it on. You are just... come to Arizona. You are weaker than my wife and weaker. Oh, so this is the husband talking. Because he is lowercase, I think. "You are weaker than my wife and weaker than me. Come to my business. Say it to my face. Man to man. My wife is a jewel in the desert. You are just trash. Reddits and Yelpers just working together to bring us down. Pathetic."
They get their own show in 6 months.
This is really...
You know what? That might be it. Right
Bingo.
there.
That's why
they're going to launch a new
show.
show.
The Yelpers and the Reddits won't watch it.
And if they do... Then it's just because you've been close to it, you know the game, you know how it works. There are more. There are shows where the things are set up, and then there are shows where this is
pretty brilliant.
The rest of that reality is the show will be canceled after a few episodes.
I don't know. It's going to be a big hit.
Michael, farther than us.
Michael Holstein is producing it. It's called The Irregulars.
So she goes on, or he goes on. Sammy, that's the guy's name.
Sammy.
This is Sammy.
Does he have a glass eye?
I am keeping note. You can tell the foreign part here. I am keeping note of all names here.
I'm making a list, checking it twice.
We will be pursuing action against you legally and against Reddit and Yelp for this plot you have come together on. You are all just punks.
It's very evil plot.
I read this first, and then I went and
That's
watched
what
the
drove
show.
you to it. Yeah.
The next one,
Buzz.
they're great. This is from this might be the lady again. You don't know us. We will thrive. We will overcome. We are starting our family. Oh God! And we will teach our child exactly what God wants in their path. That's her. And we will teach them how to fight against oppressors like you people. We will start a generation of truthfulness, and we will fight to bring places like Yelp and Reddit and horrible people like Gordon to the light.
So what we have learned is that television ruins doctors, it ruins lawyers, and it ruins people.
It's kind of a common theme on today's show.
I've had a guy yell at me before, and not even in like a reality show, like layout where
I got into it with a guy the other night. I always do, and he might be a completely fictitious person that's trying to get a rise out of me. He won. You know, I'm cool with that.
There's
I don't care.
an ice cream place in Glover Park. He only takes cash, and I remember saying, "Hey, I can go to the ATM machine next door, but." Like it's 2013, like maybe you want to get like a Square or a credit card account. And he's like, you know what? Leave. You leave. No ice cream. And I was like, I felt like it was in a Seinfeld episode.
Right.
He kicked me out.
Really?
Kicked me out.
Is it homemade ice cream?
Yes.
Is it good ice cream?
Not that great.
Okay.
The Reddits and the Yelpers hate this ice cream. Now you get out.
I went straight to Yelp and I said, they don't take credit cards.
You get out.
They kicked me out.
I would assume Amy is the woman since it's Amy's baking company.
Right.
She's out of her mind now. She's really completely.
You know what? If you don't read it in her voice, it almost sounds like she's Glenn Beck.
I am Wonder Woman. I am a great chef, a great wife, and a great mom to my kids. And we will be parents to a human kid.
Oh, that's good. So the results came back positive, huh?
A surprise.
And a great mom to my kids, and we will be parents to a human kid one day, too.
Do you think maybe she meant humane?
A humane kid.
Who else yells like that?
We will show all of you.
No, Mike doesn't yell like that. I was only kidding.
Oh, he's complete sense.
Then another one, ABC, Amy's
Great
Baking
English.
Company. This
Do
is
you
like a
think,
fake
Mike,
one.
if there had been the social media the way it exists now when you had your...
I think this was all Facebook, incidentally, that I was sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Facebook.
If social media had been where it is now when you owned your restaurant, would you have ever spun out like this?
Yes.
If you had been attacked, would you attack back as a restaurant owner?
I was attacked by a waitress. What was the waitress site? There was a waitress site where one of my waitresses talked about
a porn site.
No, it was a waitress site where the servers could talk about, and it was only
okay,
and it was brief and
TwoBrokeGirls.com.
No,
FarmersOnly.com.
It was something where she was talking about how the fact that I stiffed her on tips.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And that I would walk out without paying, and there were many nights where the evening would get away from me, and I would venture out into the night.
It happens, but you know what? They should know you always come back.
But if there was social networking and stuff like that, I mean, I'm attacked daily. So is everybody in this room. We're attacked daily on websites, and sometimes you fight. I will fight back occasionally when something is on my thread that I feel is worthy of sparring, or if I'm in a particularly bad mood, like I was with the hockey game the other night.
Right,
I like getting into if you see me post about somebody by name, that's when I'm officially really pissed.
You've chosen a battle at that point.
Yeah, and sometimes I did a Facebook thing with a guy about the 12-year-old kid giving the officer crap on the sidewalk, and I went homepage to homepage on that, where I would post on the guy's page, and we went back and forth a little bit on that because and Oscar, you never do it.
No.
And I do it, but I really
I've done it once.
I do it recreationally, really. I actually do it, so it's a good
I
way.
think
It's a good way to vent.
You like the sport
of it. Yeah.
I hate
always individuals, though. I would never go, you people.
Right.
Yeah.
If I felt like I was on the wrong side of something, I'd probably shut
Never
the F
take
up.
on a group.
No, I wish I was a little more, I guess, not aggressive about it, but for me, it just, I see this and I said, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
It can't
don't
end
listen.
well.
Don't care. Like, once I justify them and I start talking to them, I feel like I give them power.
The problem I have is that the guy,
that does empower
this
them,
guy John Smith, I talked about him the other day,
That's
and then
not
a guy,
his real name.
Richard Headley's. Those are fictitious names.
Of course.
With the Richard Headley's, I get completely duped, and at least in my opinion, have no idea because I blocked the guy and I don't have anything to do with him. I think there are people out there that create these fictitious names just to screw with people, and I've got to be mindful of that. going forward in the future. But occasionally it's fun to have. I enjoy Irish. I like
Sometimes,
a little sparring.
You argue, and that's good. Sometimes you block and defriend. What I find really effective.
You say defriend or unfriend?
I say defriend.
Well, isn't it unfriend? Isn't that the term that's used?
I don't think it matters.
Mike, we have a wonderful organic language called English that's always growing.
All right, I'm just curious.
But the best solution I've found is if you can, show up at their house with a basket of muffins. Yes. They like that. And you can just say, hey, buddy, why can't we work this out?
Yeah, find their address.
Yeah, I like that.
I unfriended a guy the other night.
Do you say unfriend or defriend?
I say unfriend.
Okay.
Because he criticized me for saying ain't. You're looking over at Mark for a reaction. I like it when you do that.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You say unfriend or defriend. Hey, Mark. See what I did to him right there? Hey, look at me. I caught you. I caught you doing that.
I like an audience.
Boy.
I like an audience.
What is the term that's used on Facebook?
I don't
know. Unfriend.
Yes, you do. Of course you do.
Unfriend.
You live on Facebook. You know the term.
Unfriend.
What's it say?
If it says unfriend, then you know what I am? I'm the rebel. Ooh.
But it says unfriend.
I prefer defriend.
But defriend is not a word.
It is a word.
Defriend is not a word in the English language.
term.
I think unfriend is probably not a word.
Stop, turn your music down. Let's Sorry, we're cutting into your segment.
I don't care.
We're not going. Nobody's moving.
You gotta look it up, Mark.
This is a moment we have to find out. Is defriend a word in the, or even unfriend? Is that a word?
You see, that's what I think. I think unfriend is probably a Facebook created
I don't
word.
think either one of them are real words.
I might be inclined to agree with both on
Unfriend
that.
has become the common use.
And is it undash friend?
Or
no one?
I don't think it is dash.
Never a hyphen.
Yeah.
I unfriended a guy the other night because he said I put ain't AIN', which is incorrect, and he said ain't a word. Yeah, I know, and it was right after the Capitals lost.
Rob would write that.
And I was
Actually, no, I like ain't. I like folksy writing.
I write ain't. Have you written ain't
of
before?
Course.
Sure. Do you use an apostrophe or not?
I do.
I do too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I use it to be colloquial.
So this guy right after the hockey went ain't a word. I'm like, boom, boom, you're out of here. You are out of there. And then he got a lot of supporters. But I thought he might have been supporting himself because he got back on and he said, so-and-so is a good guy. He's been a loyal friend of yours, but it was his name. So was he writing that about himself?
Probably, yeah. He's
From
talking
his
about
wife's
Which
account.
makes him even more of a douche.
Oh, you know what? And I think he sent me a letter, and it was after the hockey game, and then he replied, a little help here, and then I didn't reply, and his second note was...
So he was a listener.
His second note was, meh. M-E-H.
I typed in defriend in dictionary.com, and what actually came up instead was unfriend.
Oh, so I guess it's not the preferred.
But it's either defriend or unfriend. And I will get off Rob with this because I don't think either one of them is a word.
Well, their definition says to remove a person from one's list of friends or contacts on a social networking website.
So it's a new word. Yeah.
Unfriend, baby.
All right, I shall endeavor to make people use
winner.
defriend.
Ain't that something?
Point.
Mike
about
O'Mara.
Thank you very much. All right, that's
How about that, Mike?
Now let's go to a break. I think you were wrong again, Rob.
I was like normal.
Mike looks to Mark for reaction.
Let's take a break. We'll be right
How come
back.
he got a better reaction than me, Mark?
He's my boss, Rob.
We'll take a break
For now.
We'll come back with a very brief audio vault.
Oh, tiny.
Less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me.
It's a good song.
I disagree.
Hey, I watched This Is Elvis last night.
The documentary?
Watch the good one?
It's so great.
With Johnny Hara doing the audio track, right?
No, the audio track, I forget who does the narration. Johnny Hara is the big fat body double.
Okay.
But the narration is...
If only they'd have seen what was happening to me.
I might have done something about it.
Nothing better than that one.
I'll find out who did the narration.
So sad.
Because you know what? His voice it's really high. The speaking voice is high.
If it's floating around, it's called This Is Elvis. Check it out. It's a great documentary. Welcome back to the show. Rob's Magic Audio Vault is brought to you by Quench for Knowledge.
Yay!
Join Rob and Mark. They're going to be out Wednesday night, next Wednesday, May 30th at Quench. Is it next Wednesday night or the week after Wednesday?
30th.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
2 weeks from tomorrow. 2 weeks from tonight, actually.
Oh, okay, that's right.
At Quench in Rockville, Maryland, for America's favorite trivia game, Quench for Knowledge. Fun, free. There are 5 big ways to win big. Also enjoy the signature cocktails and cuisine that make Quench your best destination at any time. And I'm going to tell you that Michael Holstein would never look at a customer and say, "Get out, you don't know good food." No, he would never do that.
He might unfriend them.
Right.
Except unless you insult his wings.
It's true. Hi, Todd. Bring your friends. The fun starts at 8:30 p.m. Wednesday, May 30th at Quench, 9712 Treville Gateway Drive in Rockville. For more information, visit quenchnation.com.
Come and join the new streamlined version of Quench for Knowledge.
What time are you out there?
We start at 8, don't we, Mark?
8:30.
We have it as 8:30.
Okay, 8:30 will be good.
It's 8:30 to 8:45 at Quince.
No, well, it depends. It has gone till 2.
Fast-moving game,
hasn't it, Mike?
Well, absolutely,
it has gone till 2.
Yes, we've sung, you know, and
we
it's really great when you stand up.
It is great. I like it, too. I'd like to say, I know there's not much time for the audio vault, but I'd like to take a long moment to say thank you to Mike O'Mara.
Oh, really?
For encouraging me to stand, because that's really what saved the bit.
Do you think so?
I do.
You're totally full of crap.
I'm
You
not.
are busting my
It
balls.
went so much better after
Really?
I stood. Yes.
Well, people can't see you.
Exactly.
I came out there and
You're
it's like-
arguing a point that I agree with.
and I hear Rob going, and when you
From
stood
the
up,
corner of the room.
look at when you stand up at the live shows and you got the tux on and you do all that. You're more of a performer when you
forces
rise.
you to stand up.
Yeah.
Example, during this show I sit.
And Holstein,
And it sucks.
Holstein is a little guy.
Maybe you should stand
and
up
he has
here.
little guy furniture.
He
and
does.
when you sit down, it's like 3 inches off the floor.
Not all
I
of-
love the furniture.
But not
of
all of
course,
him.
because you're a thin guy. You
I'm
like
not that thin.
Gen X thing. Yes,
Not all of Holstein is little.
right.
Oh.
Hey, what's wrong with you?
He's in a mood today, isn't it?
Jeez.
It's speed whack by a nose. Right? All right, very good.
Jerk
That's
store.
right. Keep an ear towards me as we do the audio vault.
Hello. Hello.
A listener named Rob actually talked to a metro train conductor.
Oh, good.
Our subway system here in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And this will not only delight you, this will validate your impression.
Wow.
Mike, because the metro, I believe it's the Red Line to Shady Grove,
Oh my God.
actually says hi to the Mike O'Mara Show.
Wow.
Check
Oh,
this
great.
out. That's the real announcer.
There it is. It's
And-
a lady.
And once again,
lady.
let's go
That's
back. It's
cool.
Red Line Train to Shady Grove. This is for the Mike O'Mara Show.
That is so cool.
And without
great.
subtitles, how do you know what they're saying?
You had to play it twice.
Now, yesterday, this will shock you. I went to my Costco, and you know who I saw? I saw Sunny. Sunny, the lady, the demo lady.
Been a long time.
Hello,
And
hello.
I don't think she recognizes me since I got my hair cut. Because remember, I've been confronted by her for playing her tape on the show, and she was pissed.
And this is back when you had your hippie hair.
Right, and but now she just gives me the stink eye because I think what happens is she knows who I'm somebody,
Right.
and I have a bad feeling. She has a bad feeling when she sees
Bad
me.
vibe?
But she doesn't know why.
Right. I'd
So
pay
yesterday,
money to see that
I think
video.
she was demoing carnitas yesterday,
Carnitas.
and I took a taste, and I said, "Thank you," and she said, so. And meanwhile, someone else goes by. Hello, hello. Yes, hello.
So
Can
that-
everybody try?
That tells me that you have to do two things. You have to either be somehow more sneaky, but it's
Stealthy.
pretty hard to hide in a costume.
The problem
especially
is
you.
that they've been putting her in the frozen food section,
Yeah,
and we've
there's
had
nowhere
this
to
trouble
hide.
when there's the noise of the freezer
Yep.
that it makes it impossible to record her.
Try not standing up.
I will try sitting down. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll get a wheelchair.
One of these days, maybe one of us, if we're out and about, I know that. See, I don't go out to Leesburg like I used to. So, but I'd almost think it was worth the trip.
Let's go out there for lunch one day, Mike.
Is she a daytime person?
Absolutely, but not weekends.
And if I went over there, she wouldn't know who the hell I was, and I'd sneak over there and just be like, "Hey, how are you?"
You would never leave if she was in a mood. Because what happens? You go when it's not crowded,
Right.
So she has to call people to her. When there's people there, she's quiet,
Right.
But when it's empty, it's hello, everybody, try.
Can you get good audio if you put, say, the iPhone in the breast pocket?
Absolutely. As
Okay.
long as you're not having heart issues.
Right.
Because then I hear, boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
boom. So we can do it.
I'd like to get another tape of her.
But this is brings me to listener Julie, I think it's Hauk, Houk, or Hoke, or Hauk. She went to the Super H Mart in, I believe, Fairfax, which is an
I've been
Asian
there.
grocery store.
Oh, my God.
And she would
Want to
think
watch fish that move when
she'd
you're
like
eating
to
it.
say that the tofu lady who was doing samples gives Sunny a run for her money. Thank you, Julie Hoke, for sending this. I can't understand a damn thing.
I'd scurry over. Ni hao.
Who needs Sunny?
That's right.
Hello, Julia.
So if you're ever at the Buzz, you're in Fairfax. You ever go to the Super 8?
I've seen it. I haven't been inside.
Why
But
don't Americans do this?
What's that?
Like, I'd love to walk in a Giant and someone they would like be yelling something.
You know,
so I could
after
sample
this
something.
current incarnation of the show ultimately fails, this will be a great job for me. I'll be the demo guy.
To be the huckster?
Yeah, I could do this.
Yeah,
This I could do.
Did you see any of this in China? Because when I lived in Philadelphia, there was a fish market near my apartment building, and the guy was always standing out front every day. Fresh fish, fresh fish.
Right.
Any fish you wish.
I'm wondering if it's an Asian thing.
When we went to the exotic meats market where they had the scorpions and just all the little cranberries, you had people yelling, but not like this.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's, you got it in Costco. The difference is you'll have the ladies that are sitting there, the white ladies, and there won't be a sound and say, hey, would you like to try this? This is something.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely cracker with some cheese we put on this. This comes to it. They're only $9.95 a pound. And then you'll get the hello.
And there's panic.
I'll take the Asian version any day.
Love it. Adds excitement. Mike, sad news as we realize that they're not only losing Seth Meyers, Bill Hader is leaving Saturday Night Live. And I know you don't like, now wait, before you met.
Who cares?
Before you met, I know you don't like Stefan.
Right.
But you'll be sad Bill Hader is leaving when I remind you of this.
Elroy Valentine was an ordinary man who went out one day to catch a bass.
It's great.
But instead, he caught a case of murder. It's the mystery of the chopped up guy.
I was walking along the lake one morning.
It's really one of the
And I
greatest.
saw something floating on the surface.
Ah. Was it Wilson the volleyball?
No, it was an arm.
What's great about that
Yeah.
is Bill Hader takes like we've done on this show, the inside things where it's an NBC guy
Right.
that obviously maybe their paths have even crossed, and it's based on that. This is the white-haired, tall, skinny guy that does the Dateline report.
Yes. Exactly. Keith Morrison.
It's right. And the other guy was that.
And Mike, you'll also miss him because he does
the old reporter,
Herb Welch.
Okay, now, wait a minute, Herb. Why don't we ask her a little more about the robbery? Like, what time was it?
What's that?
What time was it?
Oh, all right. What time is it?
It's like 10 a.m.
10 a.m., Jack. You ought to wear a watch. When I was an anchor, I always wore a watch.
No, Herb, ask her what time she heard the shots.
All right. Well, what time did you hear the shots?
I think it was around 8:30, but
that was a great bit.
So I know you're not the biggest fan,
Yeah,
but I
those
thought
are-
you'd want to know that. In the past 5
Yeah.
years, those are two bits you really like.
He was also James Carville on the show.
Yeah,
You know what?
James,
You know
what's your
what?
response
You guys have sold me.
This
Most
is James
Tea Party
Carville.
members are well educated in the highest income bracket.
Highest income bracket? No. I don't believe that these people are the cream of the crop. No. They're more like the
fantastic.
water on top of the yogurt. You know when you open a yogurt and there's a foggy water there and you're like, come on. Yogurt, be cool.
That's so true.
Why do you get so angry about yogurt?
Because I'm crazy.
And that, Mike, that is your magic buddy of all.
I'll give you.
I
you know
wish
what?
Bill Hader success. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, you're right. He's funny, and I'd like to see him in some movies and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Really, probably one of the more talented cast members of the last 10 years. Really,
like him.
really talented guy. We'll take a break. Come back with Buzz and news right after this. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Wow. Yeah, I love that one. That's fantastic. Let's not waste any time. I keep missing that. Maybe it's because I'm blind. Let's get Buzz in here with the news. Take it away, Buzz Burbank.
Thank you, Mike. We're brought to you today by the Man Great Grill Enhancement System.
Yeah.
Father's Day is coming up fast. Your dad needs Man Greats, and so do you. Made in America, Man Greats are 100% American cast iron grilling grates, and they're revolutionizing the way people grill. Steak, chicken, and veggies never tasted so good because Man Greats sear your food to seal in the juices. No flare-ups, no dry meat. Guaranteed. Man Greats bring steakhouse quality to your house. Named one of the best grilling accessories by Men's Health magazine, Man Greats makes the perfect Father's Day gift. Get Man Greats for your dad or for yourself. Just click their ad on our website. Go to mangreat.com, enter the code TMOS, and you'll get our special price, just $19.99, and our custom Mike O'Mara Show grill brush.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, Rob?
How do my eyebrows look today?
Oh, did you do it with the grill brush again?
I tell you what, this doesn't just happen, folks.
Right.
It's those steel bristles, baby. They look fantastic.
You know, you roll into a Lowe's or a Home Depot or
Yes.
one of those big box stores they like to see, and you look at those gas grills and take a look at the grill grates that you see on there. And you know what those grill grates are going to say to you?
What?
Hey, look at me. I'm a little bitty girl grate. You're gonna put your pork roast on me? You're gonna put your pork loin
How does a man grate talk?
How you doing? That's right. Let me say, brother, put your meat on me, brother. I'm gonna get a man grate. I'm your man grate, brother. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
That's the Man Grate Grill Enhancement System.
Yeah, Man Grate.
A lot of younger Americans have found a new solution to the texting and driving problem. They've stopped driving. So much so, automakers are worried. A new report says young Americans are getting their licenses later or not getting them at all.
Yeah, I heard about that just the other day.
License or not, they're doing more walking, biking, and public transportation. As a whole, Americans are driving fewer miles. After years of growth, our miles driven remained flat for about 8 years and is now starting to decline. Gas prices and unemployment obviously have a lot to do with this.
You know, I yesterday logged a bunch of miles, more than I normally drive, and, you know, with the lovely commute I have downstairs, I don't do this very often.
Yes.
It was Baltimore and back, and then out to the suburbs, the wilds, of going out west to an OBGYN appointment with my wife. Right. And
it was your appointment or hers?
It was mine.
Yeah, how are you doing?
The exam was fantastic.
I bet you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love that. A doctor had very long fingers.
Oh, dear.
But I noticed, you know, it wasn't all that big a deal. I mean, it seems to me like 5 years ago it was a little rougher, a little less people on the roads.
I hope that's the case. In the meantime, your risk.
Tell Mark that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Tell Oscar that.
Yeah.
Say that.
Daily long.
Traffic was cake.
Yeah, when you don't have a commute, no big deal.
But I mean, all the way up to Baltimore, I thought it was more mellow than normal. I was very surprised.
Yeah, but not many people go by copter.
This is true. My helicopter. My chopper.
And then there's this news. Your chances of getting busted for DUI about to go way up. The National Transportation Safety Board is leaning toward urging states to drop the legal limit from .08 to .05.
I love this because that means when I got it done, I really had to do some drinking.
Attaboy.
That's right.
.05.
.05, that's the blood alcohol level at which your vision and depth perception begin to degrade.
Oh, that's overrated.
.05 is the limit most European countries use already.
That's overstated.
The NTSB says the new lower limit could save another 1,000 lives a year.
I'm fine.
The beverage industry, which also represents bars, calls the change ludicrous.
.05 is also when Mike begins to find me interesting.
I would like to see, you know, much like much like when you're talking about, you know, cancer progression and the fact that now you can map the genes and you can do that. I would look at me comparing curing cancer to DUIs.
Yes, true.
Well, it's an evolution.
Welcome to my world.
The two things that scare you most.
It would seem to me that there should be more accessibility. It should be more convenient for customers that want to go out to a watering hole to be able to get transportation. The problem is you get to your average bar in average city in average America, and it's closing time, and you've had too much to drink. You know, you're waiting 3 hours for a cab. It's kind of insane, and they just ought to make that easier.
If you're lucky to live in the city right now, and this is that offers this,
right?
There's an app called Uber that. Once you press it, it's already hooked up to your car. It takes 2 seconds to set up, and within 10 to 15 minutes, a town car or a cab shows up and takes you home.
That's the kind of stuff that I love.
See. Yeah.
Really, no excuse for it anymore.
No.
There's so many ways to do it, and people do it as an oversight. Just don't think you're Superman. You know, remember that. Really, really do that.
And I love that everyone in this room, they see the solution is getting a ride, not stopping drinking.
Thank you.
As if we weren't juggling enough scandals already, there is another that needs our focus today: sex abuse in the military. An Army sergeant in Texas is now under investigation for alleged sexual abuse of subordinates and for forcing at least one into prostitution. This senior non-commissioned officer was in charge of preventing sexual abuse at Fort Hood. He's the second man in such a position to face these charges in the last week. He's now been removed from that post, and because of this seeming trend, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel has ordered all branches of the military to immediately rescreen and retrain all of their sexual abuse prevention officers and recruiters.
This guy told me exactly what Fort Hood was named for. I was shocked.
It's terrible.
We are quickly running out of time. Let me just tell you, you want to catch some TV news this evening if you can. Attorney General Eric Holder faces a barrage of tough questions today as he appears before a House committee to talk about his department's seizure of reporters' phone records and about IRS targeting of conservative groups.
Fort Pleasure.
And Republicans, meanwhile, are finding it hard to win back the Hispanic voters they've alienated. In Florida, the former head of Hispanic Outreach
do?
Has jumped ship to the Democratic Party. Pablo Pantoja says the GOP hasn't gotten beyond lip service when it comes to immigration.
Wow. A lot of lip service at Fort Hood.
Go out to Evergreen Country Club, and I'll show you it's more than lip service.
And finally,
it's real active bigotry. Oh, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Don't send me letters. I am making a joke. Thank you.
Your fuse just went up.
Yeah. Right.
Finally, a story from Kentucky
Sure I am.
that sounds like Florida. When the manager opened his value mark in Bullitt County Monday morning, he found Trevor Runyon. A review of the surveillance video found Mr. Runyon had staged quite a party for himself. He'd smoked cigarettes, cooked, and ate a half dozen juicy steaks.
What's his last name?
He ate some Runyon.
Runyon, that's my file on you, Senator.
He ate some steaks, he ate some shrimp, and he had himself a birthday cake.
Wow.
He did all that, but before he climbed into the rafters to get some sleep, he had also drunk some beer and huffed laughing gas out of 57 cans of Ready Whip.
Hey, there you go, Buzz.
I'm Buzz Burbank on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Sounds fun. Oh, man.
You actually could speak to that, couldn't you? As far as that,
I could show you how that's done. I'm going to need steaks.
Yes, and a baking supply company.
that's it. I might actually have Buzz tell that story. That's a good tease for tomorrow's show.
Good.
Buzz will tell you all about that Ready Whip stuff. It's great. And bring it to a party and laugh. You can eat. We'll take a break. Our show today brought to you by Vistaprint. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.